Coming with breaking news that the Greeks have defeated the invading forces of Persian King Darius. As you can tell, the Persians underestimated the Greeks, and we easily defeated them. This victory for us is very important. It increases our morale, and plus, we showed the world our courage and excellence, and definitely left the Persians embarrassed, leaving them vulnerable for loss. This is the very first time mighty Persia is shown as beatable, and it will go down in Greek history. At this very moment, the Greeks are sending their fastest runner, Phidippides, from Marathon all the way to Athens to announce our victory.
We're coming at you live straight from Athens, and currently Phidippides is on his way here, running all the way from Marathon to announce the great victory. Oh look, there he is! How does it feel to be victorious?
I feel
Well, there you have it. The Greeks have won, and it is our victory.
Athens today, and I'm here to cover the Battle of Thermopylae. 10 years after the Persians defeated Marathon, Xerxes sent his best troops to invade Greece by land and sea. There were 7,000 Greeks, and they were composed of Spartans, Arcadians, Locrians, Phocians, Thespians, Corinthians, Thebans, men from Phlius, and Mycenaeans. All of these men were under the command of Spartan King Leonidas. The Persians, on the other hand, had an army of 180,000 men, led by Xerxes, Darius' son. The Greeks relatively had a small army compared to the Persians because of the reluctance of letting our troops go north, as well as religious purposes. Because there was a Spartan festival, it's called Carnia, and it does not allow bloodshed, any violence whatsoever. So, a small force of 300 hoplites advanced to the Greek defensive force. In addition to the land forces, the Greek polis sent a fleet of 300 trireme warships to prevent the Persian fleet from sailing down the inland coast of Locris and Boeotia. The pass of Thermopylae was ideal because the steep mountains ran down into the sea. Local Phocians also built a defensive wall running from the middle gate down to the sea. Xerxes, the Persian king, waited 4 days expecting that our troops would flee in panic. However, Leonidas' response was Molin Labe, or come and get them, and so the Battle of Thermopylae commenced. The Persian strategy was that they favored long-range assault using archers followed up with a cavalry charge. On the other hand, the Greeks favored heavily armed hoplites arranged in a densely packed formation called the phalanx. Each man carried a heavy, round bronze shield. The Persians also included the Immortals, an elite force of 10,000 who were better protected with armors and spears. The Greeks, on the other hand, were at a huge advantage because of their longer spears, heavier swords, better armor, and the rigid discipline of the phalanx. As well, they were at a huge advantage because of the terrain of Thermopylae, the mountain range. Invaders had a huge struggle getting in, coming around, so they were at a huge advantage for that. On the first day of battle, Xerxes sent his Median and Kissian troops. After failing to clear the pass, the mortals were sent in. The Greeks held firm, however, with their feign of a disorganized retreat and then turning on the enemy in phalanx formation. On the second day, however, a Greek traitor, Ephialtes, son of Eurydemus, a local shepherd from Trachis, informed the Persians of an alternate route behind Greek lines. Therefore, the Persians continued onward and they arrived behind the main Greek force. So Ephialtes came in. He told them that they were sure to defeat the Greeks if they came behind them and snuck up on them, which is exactly what they did. And because of this is the main reason that the Persians defeated the Greeks, because without Ephialtes letting them in on the secret, it is unlikely that the Persians would even be able to defeat them. So, because of this key piece of information, the Persians came through the rear and they took out a huge mass of Greek fighters. So, a bulk of the Greek forces were actually told to withdraw by Leonidas. On the third day of battle, Leonidas rallied his small force. Every Spartan fought till the end, until they were all killed. Even Leonidas was killed. And a lot of the Spartans wanted to preserve Leonidas' body out of respect and reverence for him. They were unsuccessful with this because they were all slaughtered and no one was left standing. So,
hello, and welcome to another segment of Athens Today. With us this afternoon is the one and only Aspasia.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Now, I know it's no secret the effect you have on Pericles, which also causes major backlash with the community. How do you deal with the scandalous rumors and personal attacks?
Yes, it comes no shock to me the uproar I have caused, especially with the men. They cannot settle with the idea of a woman having political influence. Often said, I gave birth to a bastard, but this does not bother me in the slightest anymore. The only influence I've had on Athens has benefited it, stressing the importance of the arts and making Athens the cultural center of Greece.
Well said. Now, it is also said that your house has become an intellectual center. What do they mean by this?
What they're referring to is that our house now attracts the most prominent writers and thinkers. It is often said that they have come to hear me converse. Men bring their wives to me hoping I can teach them my ways. A well-known guest of ours is Socrates.
I often hear that Socrates attributes much of Pericles' funeral oration to you. For those of you watching who don't know, the funeral oration is a famous speech given by Pericles after the first battle of the Peloponnesian Wars, stressing the importance of democracy. Is that true?
Well, as most know, this is very controversial. Pericles' enemies often say that I taught him how to speak as an attempt to degrade him. But it's not true. I did not teach Pericles how to speak, but it means how to be a good speaker. To speak with eloquence that captivates that entire audience. As for that specific speech, I would say neither of us wrote it alone, but with the help of each other.
If you and Pericles are as love as you seem, why haven't you gotten married yet?
Now, this is a question I get all of the time. Ironically, Pericles himself has instated a law to prevent aristocratic families that states a non-Athenian woman, citizen, could not become a citizen. I was born in the city of Miletus, so I am not a citizen. Thus, I do not have the right to marry. So we could not go against this law. If we did, Pericles would be risking his whole career by going against a law that he introduced himself.
As some viewers may not know, you have recently established an all-girls school for upper Athenian class girls. What do you teach here?
Yes, I value my school very highly. I teach and encourage my girls to learn more than the barriers of society want them to. I do not want them to conform to the idea that they should just learn what men want them to learn. Women are more than just weaving, dancing, and flute playing. I consider myself more a man in the sense that I am well educated on subjects such as rhetoric, philosophy, and current events.
Now all over the news lately has been your recent trial. Can you expand a little on that for us?
I've been waiting for this question. I've been accused of impiety, claiming that I showed disrespect to the gods. This attracted a large audience of about 1,500 jurors.
Can you tell us a little about the man who came to your defense?
As some of you probably already guessed, Pericles indeed spoke on my behalf, even to the point of tears.
Would you say this is a sign of weakness?
No, I would say that this shows he's passionate about what he cares about, an element everyone should hope for in their leader.
Beautifully said. Now for my personal favorite part of the interview. Fans have sent in questions that they want you to answer.
Okay, well, let's hope they're nice.
Okay, well the only question we have is sent in by Aspasia Lover 32. She wants to know what the name Aspasia means.
Well, Aspasia means desired one.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for being here.
Hi, this is Katie with Athens Today, and I am happy to report that the Greeks have won the Battle of Salamis. After the Persian victory at Thermopylae, King Xerxes proceeded to Athens. Our navy stayed on the Isle of Salamis, opposite of Athens. This served as a huge problem for the Persians because they could not use their port as easily as they wanted to transport food and other necessities to their soldiers. So, according to Herodotus, we sent a fake traitor to the Persians, and fortunately for us, they believed it, because at the Battle of Thermopylae, which happened years prior to this, an actual Greek traitor, Phaltes, went to the Persians to tell them that a route behind Greek lines, and that is why we were defeated at the Battle of Thermopylae. So this traitor convinced the Persians that we were going to escape between the mainland and Salamis at night. So, of course, they come over. Their ships are large, clunky, massive, a huge fleet of them. So this served as a huge disadvantage for them because they could not maneuver them as easily as they would have wanted to. Our ships were a lot smaller, faster, more agile, and we were able to attack and defeat the Persians. Xerxes was not even involved with this. He just stood away from this as he watched his ships become demolished. It is reported that he has fled to Asia Minor, and he has left General Mardonius in charge, so we will see what happens from there. Thank you for watching.
We are here interviewing Themistocles and his servant, who just got off to a naval ship. So Themistocles, tell us a little bit about how you won this war.
Our plan was basically luring the Persians into a narrow strait between Samalis and the mainland.
And how did you accomplish this?
My servant will answer that question for me.
I was ordered to pretend to be an Athenian traitor that would warn the Persians that the Greeks were going to escape from Salamis during the night. So the Persians rushed to the narrow strait.
And what happened there?
Well, they tried to block both entrances, and although they had more men, they weren't able to move, thus creating a huge disadvantage for the Persians, leading us to victory.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for coming.